Hi, this is Leah with Scott Leroy Marketing, and in today's tip video, I'm going to show you the best practices on how to move a loop from one Dotloop profile to another Dotloop profile. So unfortunately, there's not a super easy way to go about doing that. However, if you are transferring market centers, so if you are going from one KW office to another KW office, you will receive a new Dotloop profile when you transfer. So you'll notice as you log in to dotloop.com, and if you're following along with me, of course, you'll want to go to dotloop.com to go ahead and log in. And if you are transferring from one market center to another, and we have done your setup, you should have a second Dotloop profile. So you'll notice as I hover over my headshot, or it might be your initials on the very top right black toolbar in Dotloop, you will see that pop out display. And you might notice that you now have more than one profile here. So you might see multiple profiles in here if you are transferring from one market center to another. And that's good. So moving forward, just a heads up, you will need to submit and add all loops in your new market center's Dotloop account. Okay, so make sure you're in the correct profile there. And unfortunately, again, like I mentioned, there's not a super easy way to move your loops from one profile to another Dotloop profile when transferring. However, it is a necessary thing to do, especially if your transactions are still running, okay? Because once your previous market center removes you from their office Dotloop account, you will most of the time lose access to your loops in that old Dotloop profile. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to go into each one of your loops, download the documents from those loops, and then you can create a new loop in your new Dotloop profile and add the documents to that new loop instead. So it is a manual process. It's not too hard. It's just a little tedious. So I'm going to walk you through the steps of how you would go about doing that. All right, so I am in my Dotloop profile, and I'll go ahead and click on the loop that I would like to move over to open that up right away. I can see my loop here, which has the address and all of the documents in my loop. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to go through and download all the documents that you'd like to retain, that you'd like to pull over to your new Dotloop profile. So really the only way you can do that, so you can either do that one at a time if you'd like to keep all those forms separate, and you would just do that by clicking the three drop-down dots to the far right of that document name, and you'll select download from that drop down there. All right, I'll let you know it's generating the PDF. And I'm in Chrome here. Each browser downloads forms differently, but if you're in Chrome as well, you should see that download at the bottom of your screen now. And I can go through and repeat the process. So I can click the three drop-down dots, select download, and so on. So I can do that for each one of the documents. Now this will keep your documents separate. You'll notice that they're downloading as separate PDFs. So if you do want them to be separate, that is really unfortunately the fastest way to go about downloading each one of those. Now if you don't mind if all of your documents are in one PDF file, so combined all together, there is a much quicker way to go about downloading all your forms at once. You can just click actually on the checkbox to the left of the folder name. And you'll notice when you do check that checkbox by the folder name, it'll actually check all the forms in that folder. So I could go through and do that for each one of the folders that I'd like to download those forms from. Once I click these checkboxes, right, you will have to check the checkboxes first, but once you do, you will see these bulk options appear on the top right of the document section, and you'll just need to click download from here. Now, again, the main difference between the two ways that I just showed you to download the documents, doing them like this, where I check them all first and then click download, that does take all your documents and put it into one PDF. So you'll notice right here it says multiple documents. So basically that put all of these documents into one file, one PDF. So if that's okay with you, that is, of course, the fastest way to go about doing that. Now you will want to, of course, eye over the people that you do have in this loop here, as those people will have to be manually added to your new loop as well. So keep an eye on that. Oops. So what we'll do now that we have all of our documents downloaded, We'll scroll back to the very top of your loop, and you'll go back to hover over your headshot or your initials on the very top right black toolbar in your Dotloop account. So now from there, we'll want to go ahead and select the new market center that you're transferring into. Okay, so you should see a profile for that new market center, and you'll go ahead and select that, and that'll switch your Dotloop profile right on over to your new market center. And again, moving forward, you'll want to create all new loops in this new Dotloop profile that you have for your new market center. From here, all you'll need to do is go ahead and click the big plus sign here to create a new loop. And you'll want to name that new loop. Again, typically we'll want to name the loop the property address if you know that information. Okay, realize if you're representing the buyer, you won't know that information yet, and it's easy to change, but if at all possible, go ahead and name that the property address. You do have the option to select a template if you'd like to, so feel free to check on that there as well. And go ahead and click Create Loop on the bottom right here. All right, so I am creating a new loop in my new Dotloop profile for my new market center, all right, to move those forms into. So now what we'll do, so you'll notice now we just have a blank loop here. We do need to add all those forms that we downloaded from your previous loop in your old market center. So you should see a folder automatically in your new loop with 3 blue boxes displaying under it. If you're not seeing these 3 blue boxes, no worries, just make sure to click Add Document to the far right of the folder name, and these 3 blue boxes will appear right away. All right, what you'll want to do is you'll want to select that middle blue box there that says Browse, it says Search, and add any PDFs from your computer into this folder. All right, now as I do that, I do see all the PDFs that I downloaded pop up. Okay, those are typically in your downloads unless you saved them somewhere differently. And guys, it's always a great idea to save all of your documents from Dotloop to your computer anyway as a backup. That's a really great thing to do, especially with executed documents. So from there, I see my downloads. Just a quick tip, to select multiple at a time, you can select the bottom option, hold Shift on your keyboard, and then click the top option, and it will select all of those at once. Okay, this really does expedite this quite a bit. So again, that tip was to select multiple at once. I'll select the bottom form that I'd like to bring into my new loop, hold Shift on my keyboard, and then select the top document I'd like to add, that top file. It will select all of those at once, so I can click Open. And it will add all of those documents into my new loop here. All right, so that is how you go about adding your forms from your previous loop to this new loop. Okay, again, that was as simple as just downloading the forms from your previous loop and adding them to this new loop. While it is tedious, it's a pretty simple process. But one more thing that you will need to do is scroll down to the People section of your loop. And you'll need to add your clients back to the loop or any people that you had added to your other loop. Just an overview, a quick reminder of how that's done. In case you forgot, you would just come down to the People section and we'll click on this big red Add Person button here. There are 3 main things that we need to add for this person to be added to the loop. That would be the first and last name. We got Tony Stark for any Iron Man fans. We have the client's email address and the role. Okay, so those are the 3 main things that you will have to select or add in from this box here. Remember, we don't click Add to My Team for your clients ever. Okay, so we never click Add to My Team for our clients. But we have first and last name, email address, and role. As we click Add Person, you'll see that client added in right away. Alright guys, so that was an overview on how to move your loops from one Dotloop profile to another. Unfortunately, there is not an easier way to do that. Not even Dotloop support can move those over from one profile to another. So it is a little bit of a tedious process, but hopefully this will help walk you through that. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Feel free to email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com, and we're happy to help direct you or answer any questions you may have. Hope that helped, and I hope you guys have a good one. Take care.